Hey guys, David with Design Build Go. Hey, today I'm going to kind of run you through this installation. I'm making this kit for a couple of y'all, so kind of run through what the logic is of setting this up. I'm not going to take everything apart because it's a lot of work. But I'm going to explain it all and get it all laid out for you. So kind of where I start is where you're going to lay out. So what I did was set this up so that this is more centered when the both doors are closed. You could move it down, but you see this flat area, I left this open to put the Wolfbox 900, but that's on the bottom, so realistically you could move it down a little bit further if you want. That's your call, but I kind of centered it in that area. It closes without the seal being in the way whatsoever, and this is the seal I'm talking about, so it closes no problem there. So that's ideally where you want to put it. You're going to put holes in for the screws, and the screws that I'll provide you go right in. They're not too deep, but you kind of pilot hole drill them, and then over here behind this you're going to have the wires, the positive and negative wires come out, so you're going to drill a larger hole for those behind there. I'll pull that down and show you, and essentially just walk you through. Comes down here, there's an indentation. You can see where my finger is down in here. I'm kind of touching the wiring. Let's see. Yeah, you can see it. See, there's a 16 gauge that I used. We run down here. There's plenty of room. Then there's a nice area here to provide a service loop. So I looped it a couple times, right? And then there's going to be a grommet. I will pull this and kind of show you. So you put them through the grommet. There's some tape you got to take off, and then that puts you into this cavity. All of this, when you take off the plastic cover, it's a bunch of bolts, and then you kind of bring your wire down, your positive and negative. What I did is I connected it to here, also gave this a service loop, so if I pull off this factor table, right, I can pull it down, and that all has plenty of room behind it. This is already set up. The factor table already has the hole built in back here about where my finger is, and then you've got the I'm going to give you some cap screws, and you're going to put those through. You might have, I had to drill this out slightly, the plastic of the National Luna Light, just slightly. Be very careful. And then I went through, and then put a nut on the other side. I mean, that's an 8/24, 8/24 on that one. And then essentially connect the wires coming down from the top to this, another service loop for this table, and then come down, and then along, you're gonna find back here, this comes through. We put this table up, and you can kind of come along the bottom, which is where the loom for the windshield wiper goes, and then it comes out here. You'll see this is all clear. I ended up poking a slight hole in here while I was trying to get the wiring through. I'll touch that up with RTV, but that's let's see. This is the hardest part. One of the hardest parts is, you'll see I kind of open that up, cut it, because there's body filler all up in the top portion. This is the hardest part. It's got body filler through here. I used another wire. You could use a snake to get it through there. And then coming through here, there's nothing. So that's super easy. All right, and then you'll come up inside, kind of snake it up and come over. But I'll pull this panel, show you what it looks like. All right, so you just use a little screwdriver, pop this guy, T30, which is super common, but notice like this comes very unique pattern when you look at your cover. So when you go to put that back, you got to pay attention to little details like that. And then what I'm going to do is just pull slide your fingers under. So this is the gasket I was telling you about. So you can see I took the tape off. I've got that. Here's my service loop. Plenty of excess space. Come up here, got my zip tie, and going up to the top. So as I said, you just run it along here, through here, plenty of space up in there. So that should be a pretty good idea. And then again, you're dropping through into this cavity. Just some rubber from the tape into this cavity. And then I came over plenty of excess and then picked up, again, this light, put that into a butt connector with the piece, with the wiring that's going through the splice down at the bottom that I showed you. All right, so we talked about getting this panel off and kind of ran through that, and I put that already back together real quick. And then what you're gonna need here is, you pop these off, you pretty much take them out with your thumb. That's a 10 millimeter. In there, you're gonna take all 3 of these out. 2 of them I've already got done to expedite this. Then you're gonna take out these luggage wrap downs, and they are a T45. Let's see, where are we? Yeah, they're a T45. So you're gonna knock those things out, and then you just start from up here and you start pulling this back. It's not that easy. You feel like you're gonna break something, but what you gotta understand is there's clips back here all the way along here. There's more clips throughout the back of this, and essentially what you're doing is you're gonna use the ground that's over here. After you come through and pipe everything through, you're going to use the ground here, and then you're going to run the power all the way up with the existing power that I already have down through here, and you'll use a fiberglass snake to get it from here down into the door jamb, which I'll take you to in a minute. Let me get this open and show you what that looks like. All right, and just pulling, one of the easiest ways to do this is pull this rubber section back. Pry this out. I like using these little tools, these plastic tools. They don't mark up anything. So anyway, pull this back. You look, now this red wires are always hot. Do not mess around with those with your tools. Anyway, what I did was come in, and you see this here? I undid this body mount. This is the ground for the door lights. Just put that underneath those, back that out, and then again come up, secure to the loom, kind of make a nice loop, and then put it in with these guys. And I haven't trimmed them up yet because I have some other projects that I'm in the process of doing, and I don't want to tighten them all the way. But that's what you run it down with your fiberglass fish through there, and I'll show you where that comes out. But essentially, yeah, that's where you're coming in through this back section here. And you can pull this whole panel out if you want, but you don't really need to. I didn't. I just like looked at it. But that's what you have, is you have your, and you see I even have a black like service loop here, and these are coming in here. So that gives you an idea. And then this is all the compressor stuff for the Agile off-road. Got that in there, the power for that. This is obviously the connector for the air. So I'm going to put that back, close that up. All right, I'm going to assume that not everyone has the auxiliary battery. So what I'm going to do in this case, this is still open from a project that I'm working on, putting the compressor in. This cover plate sits here. You unscrew these bolts, and then there's some really difficult ones to get to that are T50s, but if you use a T47, you can turn it kind of angle it in and get that off. get this off. This plastic cover, like I said, I'm doing some more projects, so I just left this open so I can have access. But ultimately, what you've got is, I'll pull this back and kind of show you this red, this lone small 16 gauge is what's coming at the top from the back for the back door lights, and it comes all the way down kind of to about here. Before this, I recommend undoing this. This piece just pulls right up, so it's no big deal, and you can undo. I think that's a 10 millimeter. Most of the stuff is real common, like 10 millimeter over and over and over. Anyway, I come through, and this is where I ran the ARB compressor and made sure I didn't get any pinches with the power. Again, I make enough of a loom to go over, and then I have, it's hard to see here, but let's see if we can get better light. This is a fusible link, and you can use some different ones. There's a little mini fuse in there, so I think I've got a 5 amp in there right now. And then if you just pop this top off, you'll see I just connected that to the top. So that's where the power, it was like, where do you get your power? Well, it's right to the battery. So I think with the little fuse in there, it's plenty ample. And I've kind of found some other fuses since I did this one, but this is what I had in the middle of the night. And I've got to tidy this up, but I like to make enough so that you could run it all the way back here, connect it to other things, and use the primary battery, which is the same as this, located over there. So I'll give you enough wire if you buy the kit to be able to run that over there, and it's pretty straightforward. You want to get this cap on. There we go. That gets back on there. But that's pretty much it. Like I said, I've got a little bit of tidying up to do because I've got another project that I'm going to be running through here, so I have that open. But that's pretty much it, is just getting the power connected at that point, and you're good to go. So there we are.